Hey YouTube fam, so I just kind of want to come here guys because I just uploaded a video, but the videos that I was making before, they were about spiritual awakening. So I thought, maybe I should come back and talk a little bit about that because I haven't in a long time. So okay, if you watched my videos from before, you could probably tell that I started the spiritual journey really in around 2016, which is actually when I got accepted to FAMU with a scholarship, girl. Yes. And with being accepted to FAMU with a scholarship, I really felt, or it could have been even my philosophy classes. My philosophy classes were amazing. The first class that I had was with Dr. Scriven. If you're watching this, shout out to you. Dr. Scriven was definitely an amazing professor who opened me up to the views of patriarchy and misogyny. And so, with that new understanding, it was definitely I was looking at the world in a different way. So those are thoughts that I've had before about, in relationships, the role of the feminine and the masculine. And so it was definitely a start in the understanding that kind of concept or that dynamic and how that plays out in relationships. And so, um, with that being the beginning of my spiritual journey, uh, we we delved into a lot of concepts that had to do with what was going on in the world. And believe it or not, this was actually I took this class actually before Trump got elected. Yeah. Oh God! Before Trump got elected, so my whole class was sitting in there, just like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? It's Clinton. It's Trump. Nah, Trump not going to win. We was going through all of that, guys, all of that. But you know what happened, and I cried. I dead ass cried when that happened when Trump won. If you are a Trump supporter, I mean, I digress because I don't want to. Let's not. I don't. I don't even know what to say. Uh, but okay, and then a lot of stuff is happening on with Kanye. Okay, and I also feel that he is on some type of spiritual journey, and I would like to actually know what is Kanye going through in his spiritual concepts, because he does refer to himself as not being someone that is human, like he's a god, kind of just like the talks of Little Wayne that we also talked about in my philosophy class. Mind you, this class was called Contemporary Social Philosophy of the Black Man, I believe. And so we did delve into those kind of topics, especially with people that are in mainstream media or social media that younger kids will look up to. So at that time, Lil Wayne was probably not as popular, but people still know him. So we were talking about Lil Wayne. We were talking about Usain Bolt. We were talking about all these different guys that have come up, and the different dynamics and how some of them will date a white woman. I let's digress. Let's digress, girl. So let me move back into how spirituality has really transformed the way I am seeing the world now, and how I'm seeing myself, my mother, all of my close relationships, my fiance at that. So it's definitely, I feel spirituality, it doesn't make, I wouldn't say it actually makes your life easier, but in a sense it kind of does, because things don't change. Things are not changing in the way that they are brought up to me, or how they are placed in my life. But what does happen with being spiritual is that I find it's easier to deal with things. It's easier for me to recover. It's so much easier for me to you may be able to hit me down, but I'm not gonna be there. It's probably won't even stay. I probably won't even be down for more than even 5 minutes. But Okay, maybe that's an exaggeration, but you know, whatever. That's what I'm trying to like talk to you guys. Like with spirituality, it has definitely allowed me to be able to deal with like nitpicking and to deal with like this different negativity, just like whoosh, and whoosh, just I'm dodging it. I'm dodging all of it. Do you feel me? You feel me? I'm dodging all of it. And so with that, like that is amazing because I was a sheltered child and like people used to bully me all the time. People still try to bully you. Like people still gonna try to bully you like all the time. Like just little things. But I just come back with the kindness. There are some people that I feel like that are out there that talk about spirituality and they're able to have like this different reaction that I kind of don't really have, and I wish that like perhaps like that's gonna be something that I could develop later. But I honestly like I just you my friend, you my enemy. Like it's just pure love. Like that's all I'm gonna be putting out to you. Like love, like the pettiness. It may come out. Like I won't actually know when I'm petty. So like someone would have to try to tell me. But I'm usually not gonna say anything like negative to you or negative about you to somebody else because I don't want that kind of energy in me myself. And so I do feel like people who are able to have that and do that, it kind of like brings it back to themselves because we're magnets. We're magnets. This is like what do you feel like actually holds us separate from each other? Like, is this just air or is there something that could be bringing us together? And if it's something that could be bringing us together and you're attracting certain kind of people in your life, then it's possibly that you're being a magnet for that kind of energy or that attitude. And so that's why I feel like maybe in the Bible or Jesus was just like, you don't, yo, just turn the other cheek because sometimes turning the cheek can be it could be the hardest day for some people. It can really be because like you want to get that payback. You want to get that revenge. But trust me, the revenge you're going to do yourself probably won't be as animate or as powerful as you wanted it to be if you were just connected with spirit. Like spirit will feel that like, oh damn, like someone fucking with you still? Like, alright, spirit got you. You feel me? So I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but that definitely resonates with me and it keeps me in a more peaceful, meditative state. I am a lot more easygoing when I come across people and they're just like, why why I don't know. It's just like how I feel like I'm able to maneuver through the world like that. It is so much easier for me than to constantly think about like, oh, I need to come for her, like shots fired, like I can't. It's too much. It's too much. I'm too lazy. You feel me? So but I do feel like there is kind of an aspect that I do want to touch on that. And so if you watched my Get Ready With Me graduation video, although it was like a very lengthy, if you did watch it, like shout out to you, thank you. Because I talk about Sekhmet and Hather and their connection to me, I feel they're like a good representation of my sun energy and my moon energy. And so, like in the zodiac, my sun sign is a Taurus and my moon sign is a Leo. And I would encourage anyone out there who is also into the zodiacs, and if you're not into the zodiacs, like maybe you will be like after I don't know watching me or like maybe like the universe will get to you some way, and you're just like I want to research the zodiac. So, but if you know your sun sign and your moon sign, or even like your rising ascendant sign, like there's like a whole list of signs, and then you have also your houses where also where your houses. So there's I believe there's like 12 houses, and there's like all the planets that are connected to an actual zodiac. Um, Yeah, so that can become very tedious. If you guys want to talk more about that, please let me know. Like, comment, or subscribe. But pretty much with that, my sun sign and moon sign are connected to Sekhmet, I feel, and Hather. Um, and Hather is pretty much like a very, I want to say sweet, maybe a little bit of innocence, possibly like a lot of innocence. But I don't know. What do you think? But I feel like she is very beautiful and encompasses this way of life that I would like to bring forth to other people. I would like to be able to bring love to other people, or remind people that like someone out there actually is nice. Like, they're just nice and they don't want anything back in return from you. They're just a nice person, and I would love to be able to at least be a reminder of that, if that is if that's cool. So, and then we have Sekhmet, that is more of like, I would say maybe she's a little bit more fierce, a little bit more, maybe Nicki Minaj's. Like, don't kill me for saying that. But Sekhmet is definitely a little bit more of a fierce goddess, and so she her story is like she's like a warrior, and I would say that she's associated with red and possibly copper. Um, but all of these goddesses can also be traced back to different African religions that could have stemmed from like Yoruba, because you have Oshun and Yamaya and those kind of concepts. But I just really wanted to come here and talk to you guys about that, and how do you feel? Because I would love to know, like, what do you guys think about the zodiac? What do you think about like these African goddesses, Kemet goddesses, and these different religions that stem from there? Is there anything that you are connected to and that you would like to share?